Check, 1, 2. Good evening. I'm here to talk to you about Indigenews and our efforts to decolonize the media, ourselves and the world, just a small goal. However, I can't talk about decolonizing the media without first talking about who we are as Indigenous people. And I can't talk about who we are as Indigenous people without first introducing myself. Tanse, Eden Fineday Netsika Son, Sweetgrass First Nation, Ochinea. Hello, my name is Eden Fineday. I'm from the Sweetgrass First Nation in Treaty 6 territory. My father is Wesley Fineday, also from Sweetgrass First Nation. My mother is Robin Rohatton, a Ukrainian-Canadian born in Bienfait, Saskatchewan, and yes, it's pronounced Bienfait, even though it's spelled Bienfait. I was raised in East Vancouver. The settler state almost succeeded in separating me from my culture when they sent my father to residential school. As a young boy, he was beaten, violated, tortured, and experimented upon for 6 years. He healed himself, though, through ceremony, culture, and storytelling. He healed by praying and connecting to Cree cosmology. And since reconnecting with him at the age of 14, I have been learning to do the same. My father says we are not what we wear, or what we live in, or what we drive, or who our friends are, or how much money we're able to amass. These are very superficial ways of identifying yourself that always leave your soul yearning for more. I am a Nehea woman. I'm reclaiming my birthright, which is traditional knowledge. This is your birthright too. You also come from a culture rich with spiritual traditions and understandings. Maybe your traditional knowledge got taken from you by colonization, just like it almost did from us. If you come from Europe, this likely happened centuries ago. If you're from other areas of the world, you may still have relatives in those places that hold this knowledge. So how does this relate to journalism and the media? Traditional media has harmed Indigenous communities. Firstly, by not knowing who we are. Secondly, by only focusing on our trauma. We are more than our trauma. We are so much more than our trauma that I feel sad for the world because it's missing out on our knowledge. It's missing out on the beauty and the power of who we are. And that's where Indigenews comes in. Indigenews is showing the world the strength in our communities. In doing so, we're setting an example of how to do news a different way, a culturally appropriate way, a respectful way. Trauma-informed journalism means relationship-centered reporting. It's about building relationships with the communities we report in so that we are always welcomed back. Indigenous communities see themselves reflected accurately in our stories. We do not practice fly-in, fly-out, extraction-based information gathering. We ensure cultural safety of our sources, who we call knowledge holders. It's not that hard. I believe mainstream media can do it too. Here's how. Don't send a Facebook message to a community that is being ravaged by wildfires, asking if you can come take their picture of them in their trauma. That happens. Just don't do that. Consider behaving as though all life forms on Earth have a spirit and are all connected to each other. A media culture that is ignorant about Indigenous cultures unknowingly perpetuates colonial violence because inaccurate media representation is erasure. Take the time to hear and understand our perspectives. For example, consider learning and following traditional protocols when approaching elders. Daily news environments with high story quotas make this type of relationship building near impossible. Not every story is yours to tell. Indigenews goes dark when a community we work in lights a ceremonial fire to grieve the discovery of unmarked graves. While the rest of the world scrambles to document their pain, we give them space. Can you see Indigenous folks the way we see ourselves? This may seem hard, but it is not impossible. Indigenous people do this every day. We hold two perspectives simultaneously. You can learn this pluralism too. Your reality is not the only reality. Consider walking a kilometer in our moccasins. Our sacred knowledge has been passed down for thousands of generations. Let us share it with you.